So that vehicle here really caught my attention here on the New York Auto Show. What about it? Join me. This is the all-new Hyundai Sonata. It's the 2020 model, and they actually redesigned the whole one because you see they want to make it sportier, not only in the front. They really want to position it as a four-door coupe, which you can see exactly right there in the rear shape from the side. Very interesting. Let's take a detailed look at it together. Now look at that massive grille there in the front, also with the dark background. That really, well, the grille goes all over the vehicles really. They also use a new platform called N3. This is lighter, and the center of gravity is lower. Well, it's overall the whole car is wider, lower and longer. Also the headlamps here, very interesting structure. The lower part is the daytime running light, and the main headlamp unit then 3 individual pieces. And you see here the daytime running light leads over to a special design element that leads then over to the side mirrors. Very strong also this power dome here right in front of the hood. And we'll soon also talk about the engines. The length is at 4 meters 90 or 193 inches. As I said, it is longer than the predecessor. And, well, just a little bit, 2 inches longer, and half of that, so 1 inch goes into the wheelbase, so you also should have a little bit more room on the inside. In this case, those ones here are 18-inch wheels. We'll also show you a red car very soon. See also how big the rims are there. Those ones here with a special structure you see in a dual tone design. Overall, again, sleek and beautiful. And now look again here at the rear silhouette right there. This is this new coupe style with a flat falling roof line. So this is indeed very sporty and a strong shoulder part. But there, you see here, this rear light beginning here, that reminds me a little bit of a Honda Civic, doesn't it? And then we go with the rear. The light strip goes all over the vehicle from left to right. And again, I think there's a little bit of Honda Civic had a sedan or fastback in that one. Well, you know, all manufacturers do something similar these days. But I think overall the design here is very well done. Please give me your comments right there on the design here of the new Sonata. A lot of fake exhausts are being used nowadays, and here you can see they actually make a real dissolve from the real exhaust tip to the outer beauty tip, and I think, you know, that's actually well done. What do you think? And another detail here from the exterior, look at that, the top part of those tail lamps. This is actually touchable, so a little bit like, you know, like tiger claws. And now another color here for you. Wow, this strong red, that looks really amazing. Wow. Look at that. So they can really design very beautiful cars. I think this will maybe boost the sales of this vehicle, making it that sporty in the look. Those ones here, by the way, are 19-inch wheels, so a little bit bigger, even a sportier approach. And there you can also see how it works with a brighter color, this special design element. This design element where the daytime running light leads over right to the front hood. See here? This is reflecting then. Very interesting. Let's take an even deeper look. So you see the front is actually really also daytime running light. It's not flickering in real life, by the way, just sometimes on camera. And then it dissolves basically into this design element. So very, very interesting element, don't you think so? And especially also the rear perspective here of the red vehicle. That is really amazing. So they indeed did something daring with the design, not only with the light, definitely in the front, also in the rear, but also just from those overall very sculptural forms. The Hyundai logo here, by the way, in 2D, so not three-dimensional, because a lot of the assistance systems are needed. So a lot of sensors are hidden behind the logo, also the front view camera and underneath it. But here, actually, you have the sensors for the assistance systems. For example, there will be a new highway driving assist, which is more elaborated than the one you had before in assistance systems. Engine-wise, there will be 1.6-liter turbo engine, 183 horsepower with an 8-speed auto gearbox. Then a 2-liter naturally aspirated engine, 160 horsepower, 6-speed. And then a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated engine, 194 horsepower and an 8-speed automatic gearbox. Also supposed to have an N-line or maybe an N-turbo engine later, as well as a plug-in hybrid vehicle. So far, all are front-wheel drive, but maybe there will be an all-wheel drive model at one point. Then the interior, soft touch at the inside of the doors. Also a nice finish of the window levers right there. Very slim door pockets. And then this one here, for example, is a bright interior with a beige color. I really like the color combination here to the gray car. The steering wheel rather in a classic, elegant shape. The cars they have here on location are all about animal skin surfaces. We'll see on later in the configurator if they also will offer anything else, but so far really an animal skin focus with that one here. And the first impression from the build quality is actually quite nice. We'll soon see more about that. Well, on those motor shows the cars are often pre-production, but I want to show you some funny thing. So when I change the steering wheel here, when I push it in again, the turning indicator moves. You see a little bit? Push it in, and the turning indicator moves up just a little bit. So yeah, I mean, you could say, yeah, just pre-production, early vehicle and so on. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes it will be the same case in the car later on. Well, we'll see if we can catch one later and then really tell you more about it. Here you will have 12.3-inch digital instruments. That's new. However, those cars here are often not fully powered on the show, so we cannot show you all capabilities of that. And this one then a 10.25-inch screen is also not powered for the main infotainment unit that will also feature Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The AC unit, I really like that. It's right here. It doesn't have any big clicking sound or something. It just scrolls through. There will be a display inside. And then in the lower end, you will have some USB supplies for the smartphone connection or just for recharging, as well as an inductive charging platform. The drive, here the automatic gearbox, you just put in D then, that's very interesting, or N or reverse gear. So I mean, why not going for a shifting lever? You know, I'm okay with that. So you can keep the design a little bit sleeker. But you see those shiny black elements, they definitely prone to collect some fingerprints. You'll have a separate button also for the camera system and adaptive cup holders also for bigger models. Then there's here this central armrest. It's actually well attached and some serious storage room underneath. The top part here should be leather red. I think it's very well processed. Also with this stitching right there and gives another good contrast. But you know, when you use bright materials on the top part of the dashboard, it's beautiful, but you see here, that's a problem. You see this glare there in the top part? Porsche and Jaguar used to make all beige dashboards, and you see they're reflecting in the windscreen all over the place. Therefore, I really like it when, for example, there's a mix of then a dark material on the top part, and then used, for example, the beige or white or gray something on the lower end. Then that's beautiful, but then again, doesn't give you those reflections in the windscreen. Seating position here is actually quite comfortable, so I'm feeling quite cozy here in this vehicle, and I've been sitting in a lot of different cars on this motor show, and this one's actually quite pleasing from a seating position. I mean, it's not an SUV, so you don't sit that upright, but the seat form, actually they did that quite well, and you feel that you have a lot of space on the inside, and well, they did this coupe form. In the front, I'm 1.86 m, but it leaves still some headroom together with this panoramic roof. If you want a little bit more headroom, you would leave out the panoramic roof. Let's also check out how it looks like in the rear. And not to forget another front cockpit perspective right there, as we used to show you. So you see it's a very sleek and elegant design overall with those gauges, and the instruments update, this one will be crucial, as well as the infotainment with the new system, so you have more infotainment for sure. And on the steering wheel you not only have shifting pedals when you're using this automatic gearbox, that you can also put a gear back, for example when overtaking. Left side is also with volume control and picking up the phone, for example, and the right side would be for cruise control settings and also for this new semi-autonomous driving mode. And actually that's no problem. So even though it has this folding coupe style form, I can sit here in the rear, 4 tall adults in this car, no problem. And indeed I had the seat as I would be driving, and I can put a fist in front of my knees, so there's a lot of legroom still left. So the package actually is quite nice. We know cars that are similar long. This would be upper mid-size segment, we call it in Germany. It's the length already, of a BMW 5 Series or Mercedes E-Class or Audi A6 or so on. And this one here is actually more legroom, so well done as for the package. And here again, another look at this panoramic roof. It leaves a lot of light in the interior. So again, if you want more headroom, leave it out. But this one, of course, always a cool option. And as for the materials here in the rear, oh, they even have some soft touch here at the rear doors. We rarely see that nowadays. And the rear passengers also have another USB supply right there. And for your drinks in the rear, you have this armrest right there. Put it back. There is no ISOFIX sign here in the rear, but hidden right there are some anchor points actually for child seats. Very interesting how to open the trunk. Actually, it's inside the logo. You cannot see it. It's maybe also something for security if no one knows it. And then you press it right there. Then it opens. Very interesting. And I mean, you're somewhat limited, of course, in height always as for that, but in length it's actually no problem. So if you have a decent amount of space and if you want to load things through, you would use those handles here, and then you have the release and also kind of flip the seats. And here we go. So 1/3, 2/3 split. Of course, you could flip also the other side. Then you can easily load through about 2 meters or something in length. So here there's also an all black trim available if you want it a little bit more subtle. However, you see that the bright one gives a little bit more light to the interior, but showing you this little bit of variation. And here, of course, also the dashboard is black, and against reflection, that's of course then the overall better choice. And one last look here at the most spectacular color. And actually, this is really one of my highlights here of the motor show, because I really like the exterior. I like that they did something daring, but it's still very well usable on the inside. So it had some good dimensions, a good package from room you still have on the interior. I'm just really excited if they also will either add some more sustainable leatherette or also fabric seats options or something. But overall, pretty sleek on the exterior, usable on the interior, and the build quality, besides that one thing on the steering wheel, looked actually quite nice. And we ended here with one more front perspective. What do you think about the all-new Hyundai Sonata?